In December 2023, the Bulgarian, Serbian and Hungarian media excitedly announced the results of a study which, as put by the said media, prove that Romanians are 50% Slavs. Finally, the myth of the Romanians in Transylvania has been destroyed. The mentioned study, titled The Genetic History of the Balkans from Roman Frontier to Slavic Migrations, was not referenced by any of the publications, indicating that Hungarian, Bulgarian and Serbian media cared more for a propagandistic message rather than giving attention to the actual study. The same news was shared by the Romanian prostitute without the slightest attempt at disproving it. Let's see what the study was about. As stated by the authors themselves, their intention was to gain an understanding of the impact of migratory populations in the Balkan region between the 1st and the 10th centuries. The Balkan region they investigated is delimited by the Adriatic, Central Mediterranean, Aegean seas, and to the north by the Middle and Lower Danube and the Sava River. And the genomic data was collected from 138 ancient individuals from present-day Croatia and Serbia, and 6 individuals from Austria, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Several things are obvious. The area investigated did not include Romania. The authors did not directly analyze DNA prevailed from bones found in Romania. The 138 bones analyzed did not belong to individuals who lived at the same time, but to individuals who lived across a span of nearly 1,000 years between the 1st and 10th centuries AD. Slavic migration did occur in Romania and had an influence on various aspects like genetics, toponymy, culture, but on what do the Bulgarian, Hungarian and Serbian media base their claim that Romanians are predominantly Slavic? The researchers state that in their database, I2A L621 and R1A Z282 appear only after 700 AD, always associated with the East European related ancestry in the autosomal genome. This supports the notion that these genetic lineages were introduced to the Balkans by East European migrants during early medieval period. The R1AZ282 lineage shows the highest frequencies in Central and Eastern European Slavic languages groups, while the I2A L621 lineage reaches the highest frequencies in current populations from Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia and Serbia, and is also present in other Slavic-speaking groups like Russians and Ukrainians. If this sounds like Chinese, bear with me, we will take it slowly. The researchers mistakenly claim the I2A haplogroup is of Slavic origin. In actuality, the I2A haplogroup dates back to the Mesolithic, which is around 5,000 years ago. If we examine the data on Wikipedia, we can observe that the presence of the I2A gene is lower in Ukraine, 20%, and Russia, 10%, compared to Romania. As it can be seen on this map, this haplogroup appears to radiate from the Balkan Peninsula and the Romanian region, and the further we go, its frequency decreases. This indicates that the Mesolithic I2A genes, which account for approximately 28% in Romanians, are indigenous to the area, being present in the region even before the formation of Ghetto-Dacian populations and the arrival of the Slavs. The southern Slavic states along the Danube River also have high percentages of the I2A gene, which demonstrates genetic continuity of the indigenous element here, and by no means a Slavic origin. The fact that large groups of people from the southern Danube speak a Slavic language proves that the newcomers linguistically assimilated the indigenous element, which was predominantly of the I2A haplogroup. The I2A haplogroup had already existed in present-day Romania for 5,000 years before the Slavic migration, and it is quite absurd to link it with the Slavic population. The genes of those people provide evidence of what had transpired and is historically attested at the south of the Danube. The southern Danubian indigenous people and Romanians or Wallachians, after the Slavic migration, constituted approximately half of the population of present-day Bulgaria, as supported by historical evidence. This is further evident in the establishment of the Second Bulgarian Wallachian Empire under the Asan brothers. They were eventually linguistically assimilated by the Slavs through various means. In present-day Serbia and Bosnia-Herzegovina, there were many medieval Wallachian regions which were gradually linguistically assimilated. However, their genetic traces remained. Some variants of the I2A haplogroup indicate that the Slavic migrants gradually intermixed with the indigenous people, but does not prove that the I2A haplogroup itself is inherently Slavic. The presence of an I2A variant in one of the most genetically conservative regions, such as Sardinia, does not imply that the Sardinians are Slavs. On the other hand, the Slavic haplogroup R1A, which is predominantly associated with Bronze Age immigrants, is about 18% in Romanian population. Most of the southern Slavs also have a significant percentage of the R1A gene, nearly equal to or higher than those in Romania. Among the northern Slavs, the percentage of this gene is 46 in Russia, 44 in Ukraine, 51 in Belarus, and even 29.5 in Hungary. The genetics of present-day Romanians also contain genes, albeit in smaller proportions, originating from regions such as Anatolia, Germanic regions, or Central Asia. If we examine the percentage of individuals in Romania with genes belonging to the Finno-Ugric Hungarian population from Central Asia over 1,000 years ago, it becomes evident that it is 3 times higher than that of the population in Hungary. Does the Hungarian media ever mention this truth? Or are they only focused on Romanian genetics? If the presented data is not convincing enough, you can refer to research conducted by Hungarian scientists that explicitly state our findings demonstrate that significant genetic differences exist between the ancient and recent Hungarian-speaking populations, and no genetic continuity is seen. And in another study conducted by Hungarian researchers, they state that the TET-C allele is an interesting marker in the Finno-Ugric context, distributed in all the Finno-Ugric speaking populations except for Hungarians. Apparently, the Hungarian media is more preoccupied with the Romanian continuity in the region and labeling Romanians as Slavs, while their own studies prove that they lack significant continuity themselves. At the same time, the N1C1 Finno-Ugric genes, which are present in significant percentages in Finland and Estonia, which are linguistically related to Hungarians, are found in Hungary in only 0.5% of the population. It is interesting to note that in Iceland the percentage is twice as high, with 1% of Icelanders having these Finno-Ugric genes, and in Russia the percentage is substantial at 23. In Romania the percentage appears to be around 1.5. It is hilarious to attempt to prove the lack of Romanian continuity when your own Hungarian genetic studies demonstrate that only 0.5% of present-day Hungarian population carries genes from the Hungarian populations that originated from Asia. But what would drive Budapest, Sofia and Belgrade to manipulate scientific research in relation to Romania? What is currently at stake geopolitically and politically to make them use a research done on the remains of people who lived over 1,000 years ago? Budapest, as usual, is being obsessed with disproving Romanians are natives in the region or the existence of Daco-Roman continuity, in spite of countless evidences. Sofia and Belgrade are seemingly preoccupied with imperialism, pan-Slavic grandeur, and denationalization of Romanians within their territories. In Serbia, the authorities have divided the Romanian minority into two separate groups, the so-called Vlachs and Romanians, who speak different languages. This follows a similar pattern to the Soviet treatment of Moldavians, who are considered distinct from Romanians and speak a different language. In Bulgaria, Romanians are not recognized as a minority with basic rights, and the authorities there still have dreams of the Bulgarian Empire, which included parts of present-day Romania. Although the first Bulgarian Empire was indeed Bulgarian or Turkic, being a true Khanate, the Second Empire was Valacho-Bulgarian, as attested by the chronicles of that time, which stated that its leaders, the Asan brothers, were actually Romanians. Indeed, the genetic archaic basis of Romanians is similar to that of the Slavic-speaking people in the Balkans. But this similarity is not because Romanians are Slavs, as the articles claim. The Bulgarians, Serbians, Croats, Bosniaks and Romanians share a common archaic genetic basis that pre-existed in the region before the Slavic migration. Nobody denies the genetic, linguistic and cultural contributions that the Slavic populations brought to the makeup of Romanians. However, it is important to understand that there has never been genetic purity, as evidenced by examining the genetic map of Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria or Serbia. On the other hand, nationality is a completely separate concept. Nationalism is a form of social organization, and no genetic test can identify specific genes belonging to Romanians, Hungarians, Russians, Greeks, or Sri Lankans. From a genetic standpoint, Pushkin or Alexander Dumas had a darker complexion. However, in terms of nationality, one was Russian and the other was French. Anyway, whenever ridiculous claims like the ones found in the Hungarian, Serbian and Bulgarian press surface, the words of Gheorghe Brătianu become clear. Hungarians assert Romanians came from the south of the Danube. Bulgarians and Serbians argue that Romanians formed in the north of the Danube, and Russians claim that Romanians came from Hungary. As a result, the Romanian people stands as a unique example of spontaneous generation in human history.